Durag Wisdom here, folks, and welcome to Earth Date Y2K 18.04.05, 215 days. Time just marches on, doesn't it, folks, until the midterm elections. And today, among other things, I'd like to give parting advice to the young. Parting advice? Where am I going? I am 67 plus, and as far as I am concerned, I am on my way out. I've always believed in cleaning up after myself, so that the next guest can have a pristine experience. We baby bunglers, the masters now of this world, are owed something because, like our parents, we were drafted into our wars. We were forced to go out and fight, whether the war was legal or not. And the Vietnam War was an illegal war. It was an undeclared, constitutional. By the Constitution, it was undeclared. It was still a war. It was still a war. And I consider that any person who fought in that war and survived is a hero or heroine as far as I'm concerned. I mean, this is the way I feel. I mean, no matter what the kind of war it is. And my generation, the baby bunglers, we were drafted. We had to have a draft card, and then we had a number, a lottery number, and we could be someone who never picked up a weapon, a rifle, a shotgun, anything in their entire life, could find themselves in the middle of a battlefield after 6, 7, 8 weeks of grueling basic training, because they have to teach you how to kill. You can't just go in there and pick up a rifle or weapon and start shooting. In the end, we dropped the ball because we gave up. We gave in to business as usual. My generation is owed something as most who got screwed and who gets screwed. You live, you get screwed. I mean, that's how it is. Without being kissed most of the time. But now, we are just as guilty. We too are not leaving the young generation with a clean campsite, a pristine planet, a refined, non-naked ape society. My generation, the generation of hippies, drugs, free love, protest, war, dropped the ball when we gave you, the younger generations, the fascist, traitorous scum, Adolf, Donald Trump, Putin, as president of our fragile democratic republic. I was a teacher, and as a teacher, I picked a team that I want to fight with, and that team is the young people. Over the next several months, I hope that I will devote some time to broadcasting advice to our young activists. You got to use the old people. We've been around, so you got to use us. No matter how ridiculous we start looking, or whatever, or how we talk, or how we dress, or what we think, you've got to take advantage of what we know, because as I said before, this reality is life and death. I am obsessed with the fact of my responsibility for this mess we are in. In the meantime, I hope that whatever benefit I can give young people because of my experience will be of help, and also a form of repentance for my generation's negligence and my own. Let me start by saying that young activists should be focused on their cause and on their goals. Your right-wing enemies are adept at distraction, folks, and do what David Hogg did on Lawrence O'Donnell that other night. Lawrence kept trying to ask him, how do you feel about Laura Ingraham? How do you feel about Laura Ingraham? And this young man sat there and he kept saying, this is what we want to do next. This is what we're doing next. This is what we're doing next. Yep, do not get sucked in to that name-calling stuff. Be focused on your goal. and ignore these creeps. These creeps like Laura Ingraham and these right-wing ignoramuses. I've said that the March for Our Lives is more than a cause for sane gun regulations, but also it's an action against the fascist Trump and his GOP enablers. Now, whether my analysis is true or not, these activists, young people, can agree or they can disagree with me. Their protest is their own. And again, I expect them to remain focused on their cause. I can't help expressing an interpretation of what is going on in this era. I'm reporting on it. I'm reporting what I'm seeing. But I do not expect this activist group of young people to be co-opted by any political party or agenda, including mine. We have a dangerous traitor in our White House being enabled by religious extremists, the GOP, and by right-wing corporations. I'm extremely gratified that we have a Me Too movement concentrating on women's rights. We have the March for Our Lives activists concentrating on demanding sane gun regulations. I love the Black Lives Matter movement as it concentrates on police brutality. I also am gratified that the teachers are finally standing up for not only their rights, but understandably for the rights of the students, that they have to teach and they have to support and back up, because if their parents aren't, who else can they turn to? In the 2 remaining years of the Y2K teens decade, I am hoping for more and more protests, more and more town halls, more and more actions against the enemies of our democratic republic and against the oppressors and murderers of our children. I hope to continue with more guidance and advice, because I am still here, not dead yet, and owe you and our children some cleanup. Durag Wisdom here, and this is a supplemental to Y2K 18.04.05. Ladies and gentlemen, when Trump says yes, I say no. When Trump says no, I say yes. I am dedicating myself to undermining this traitorous creep in his party, even if it gives me so much stress that I die. You get that? Better to die free than live under a Trump-Putin, GOP, teabagger, religious extremist, totalitarian dictatorship, which I despise, I'm telling you. If I would not allow myself to live in that kind of a situation. I awake each morning with the hope that traitor Trump and his GOP enablers die natural deaths or by accident, as horribly as possible, with torture and pain, because if you really hate someone or something as much as I do, you want them to be gone. If it were up to me, I would get rid of every border on this freaking planet and force every human being to live together. I'd rather have all of South America in this country here with me, rather than Trump, his GOP, and his religious extremist scum hypocrites, okay? Look me right in the face. I'm telling you. I would rather build a wall to protect me from that stupid shithead Trump than he wants to protect us from these poor people who just want to have peace and freedom. I believe that Trump has no right to peace or freedom. If people can't live together in peace and harmony, I hope for a hostile extraterrestrial invasion. I hope that the earth one day treats the naked ape human race like the virus that they are and destroy them for all time for the good of all living beings. The earth itself to take and eliminate us I suffer from chronic depression, so at times, if you don't hear from me, it could be I'm going through a dark period. I'm trying to come out of one. But as long as this son of a bitch, piece of shit, is in our lives, I'm gonna always be more fucking depressed! Yeah, I know I'm giving the people that love that creep entertainment when I go off like that. But I want to tell you folks, I'm glad I'm giving you entertainment, but your guy, if you support him, he's going downtown. He's going down. Everything I'm reading about him, everything that's coming down on the press, in the press, he is going down. Wow. And our country, as someone told me, someone from the British Isles told me, we were traveling on the train. We were going down to Florida to take care of a family business. I ran into someone from the British Isles who said he had faith in our country, that he believed that there's a basic good here, and that we're going to overcome this traitorous fascist. Because of my depression, right, sometimes I may be sick, so I'll try to be with you folks as much as I can during this time of this extremely historic time, because I want to make sure that I'm on the right side of history and not the wrong. So we have to all stand up against evil any way that we can. I was saying, about my depression. My mother was severely bipolar, and my father suffered from combat PTSD. I grew up in and with chaos. So please excuse me. I want to be as honest with you folks as possible, as I said, as I pledged from the beginning with these broadcasts. One of the things that continued and really got me worse was I read yesterday about a creep that tortured and murdered a little girl. A little innocent little child. I just came upon the news. I just innocently put the local news on, and they came on with this little girl's face and what happened to her, tortured and murdered. As frightened as I am to die, the more I live, the more I realize that I do not want to share air with murdering scum, psychos, and other creeps whose only purpose in life is to make everyone miserable and or die. That poor innocent little girl. That poor innocent little being. Our government and our planet are simply filled to the brim with excrement. It really stinks. It stinks! And if I happen to die, I will never have to smell it again. And by the way, reality TV does not belong in our life and sudden death reality.